The Forgotten Corner. Chapter 1. The Neighbor's Secret. I still remember the day I first laid eyes on the old corner house on Maple Street. A decrepit Victorian with overgrown gardens and shutters as white as the ghosts of yesteryear. It stood like a relic from another era, shrouded in mystery and neglect, whispering secrets only the wind could hear. Neighbors avoided it. They would hush when I mentioned its existence. Something about that place made them uneasy. Yet, something within me drew closer with every passing day. Curiosity piqued by the tales of sinister events whispered behind closed doors. The windows remained sealed, as if hiding truths from prying eyes, and the front door, locked in time. For years, no one dared cross its threshold or even glance through its grimy panes. It was an enigma wrapped in mystery. When I moved into the small bungalow next door, curiosity took root, sprouting into a relentless desire to know what secrets lay within those abandoned walls. One evening, as dusk painted the sky with vibrant hues, I noticed something peculiar. Lights flickered in one of the upper rooms, casting eerie shadows on the curtains. My heart skipped a beat. No occupants had been listed at that address since before I was born. It wasn't until nightfall that my curiosity became obsession. The house seemed to breathe. Its walls creaked softly as if voices were trying to escape from within. Faint whispers drifted through the air, ethereal, like wisps of a long-forgotten melody carried by an unseen breeze. I leaned out my window to peer into the darkness, heart pounding in unison with the ticking of my clock. The next night, more lights flickered. Someone had opened them briefly, then hastily shut them once again. My imagination painted vivid scenes. An occupant fumbling for candles and books by moonlight, or perhaps leaving suddenly. Days passed, and I could no longer shake the feeling that eyes were upon me from across the way. The whispering intensified, words now discernible, indistinct phrases like "help me" and "please." My mind began to weave tales of despairing souls trapped within, seeking liberation from their confines. One evening, an object caught my attention. A vase on the windowsill changed position from one glance to the next, before vanishing altogether. I was no longer imagining things. There was an occupant, and they were restless. Shadows moved across the glass as if tracing my silhouette, beckoning me closer. That's when fear started creeping in, seeping into my dreams with dread images of forgotten rooms filled with dusty trunks and forgotten lives. The neighborliness I initially sought from Mrs. Jenkins at our shared fence became sparse. She whispered only one thing: "The house is cursed." Her hushed words echoed within my mind. A warning? A cautionare tale. One night, my breath caught as I saw it. The shadow of a person against the window, outlined like an inky silhouette with features that seemed to sharpen into something human. It didn't move or disappear. Instead, it watched me steadily until dawn. My pulse raced and stomach roiled as if the house had taken on life. Those whispers now echoed in my dreams. Lily, a name not mine, yet so familiar, was etched in the dirt outside their door with the date 1875, an unsettling coincidence given my own first name. I felt an inexplicable connection to those ancient walls and their history. The following day's sunlight couldn't dispel the chill of that encounter. Mrs. Jenkins revealed a piece of Maple Street lore during our rare conversation. It was once home to my great-grandmother, Eliza. The tale she shared spoke of witchcraft practices in the early 1900s, long before I ever heard whispers of my own heritage. The name Lily resonated within me. as if buried memories awakened by a force beyond reason. A nagging question formed. Was it possible that Eliza and I were connected? The more I pondered this, the more I yearned to explore the abandoned property. One autumn evening, under the glow of a full moon, I ventured closer than ever before. The rustling leaves a symphony in my ears. My fingers traced the intricate ironwork on the door, hesitantly lifting the latch when it opened with an unnatural ease, as if beckoned by unseen hands. Inside, dust danced through shafts of pale light. Shadows of forgotten times loomed, and musty air clung to me like a shroud. The interior was a time capsule, each room a chapter from another era's life. The parlor, the study with books gathering dust, a kitchen that could have been plucked from my grandmother's stories. In one corner, I discovered an old journal belonging to Eliza, penned in an elegant script. It bore a date 1895. Each entry spoke of strange occurrences and unexplained events, the ink smudged by tears. It was as if she had recorded her own descent into madness, or perhaps something else. Things beyond mortal comprehension. With each turned page, my skin crawled more violently. Tales of hidden rituals, strange potions brewed in candlelight, and a child who vanished without trace spoke of witchcraft's dark allure. The penmanship became illegible towards the end. I could feel her fear as she penned it all down before fleeing in desperation. Dread crept up my spine as an icy breeze swept through the room. Outside, shadows shifted, long and lean. In that moment, I knew what resided within those walls wasn't just the specter of a forgotten past. A presence materialized in front of me, the apparition of an ethereal girl clad in white, with pleading eyes that followed my gaze to the journal clutched in trembling hands. "I'm trapped," she mouthed as I froze, voiceless yet heard. In that moment, all myths merged into reality. Witchcraft, curses, and silent screams. A name was carved above her headstone in the overgrown backyard. Lily Rose. My own heart raced with a dreadful truth. We shared a lineage of secrets and unspoken truths. As I hastily closed the door behind me, a gust forced it shut, trapping me inside, plunging me into darkness. The whispers intensified, an ominous chant that became a mantra in my mind's ear. Suddenly, lights extinguished as if someone had passed through them. My only choice was to explore and unravel this forgotten legacy before I succumbed to the same madness Eliza described. Chapter 2. The Unwanted Companion. Days blurred, consumed by research into my family history and strange occurrences. Lily Rose, it seemed, was a name of renown. An innocent wrongly hanged for practicing witchcraft in 1896. As days lengthened, so did the frequency of events. Each night found me peeking out my window to watch the shadowy figure that had claimed Eliza's spirit. It materialized against the glass, watching with eyes as dark as coal. One fateful evening, when the moon cast shadows of its own, I saw it more clearly. An elongated form swaying unnaturally outside my room. The silhouette began to take shape. A fragile frame, wispy hair, and tattered clothing. Lily Rose's specter leaned against the sill, pleading eyes meeting mine with a sorrow that transcended time. Her ethereal lips formed words I couldn't hear. Lily Rose, help me. An unsettling sense of belonging washed over me. When morning arrived, there it stood on my bedsheet, an echo of her image in dark blue ink. That night, she was closer still, pressed against the glass like a haunting apparition. Mrs. Jenkins' words resonated. Eliza practiced the occult. I fear they took both their lives. She'd witnessed Eliza's arrest and trial from afar. The witching hour arrived with an unnatural storm brewing outside. I descended to the basement where Eliza's potions still fermented, each concoction a testament to her desperation in the face of ignorance. They pulsed like ancient hearts in my hands as I recognized familiar scents. It was then that my own witching began. Visions danced across my eyes and skin prickled with an unseen power. Lily appeared beside me once more, closer now, demanding rescue from an otherworldly evil. We spoke through the glass, a silent plea for redemption intertwining us in this twilight realm where lives cross centuries. A gust ripped open the window, and she slipped through the veil of life into my bedroom, her form dissolving as if embracing me. In that instant, power coursed through my veins. It was both exhilarating and terrifying. Lily materialized amidst the storm's chaos with an unnatural light. She were flowing white once more, yet looked less specter than the daughter I always wanted. A life beyond death in my hands. The room whirled around us as we clung, rain pattering against the floorboards. "You see me," she whispered, her voice a sigh of longing that reached the heart's core. A childlike girl appeared by the open window, eyes so alike mine. Another soul entrapped like Lily Rose. I held Eliza's journal tightly as our connection solidified, an old life reawakened within me. In that stormy room, we began to unspool centuries of secrets and a legacy that could redeem both our lives. Chapter 3. The Final Revelation. We ventured out against the wind into history. Lily's story unfolding like a long, lost tale in my heart. With each step away from the house, I felt more substantial while the shadowy figure followed at a distance. In those woods, amidst tangled brambles, Eliza's spirit spoke of an incantation penned to set us free. It bore the power of her ancestors and the love we shared. A gust dislodged leaves and branches as if nature itself was testing us against some long-forgotten balance. Lily Rose's final entry spoke of a right to sever ties with darkness. Yet that day dawned, and they found her still brewing potions in the cellar. Guilt turned to stone. I faced the storm anew, the child by my side. My daughter, Eliza's reincarnation, eyes mirroring mine. In the shadow, watching from the periphery. At the edge of a gurgling brook, Lily Rose grasped both our hands in an ethereal hold as Eliza whispered the incantation. The words felt like venom on my tongue, yet tasted oddly beautiful. It was then that our figures were lifted, levitated by unseen forces above the churning water. I opened myself fully to this mystical dance with nature's elements. An unlearned magic awakened within me, a silent plea from my great-grandmother Eliza. We wove through branches as if untethered, the storm intensifying, the journal clutched in Lily's hand. As we neared the clearing, the winds howled and thunder boomed like nature's judgment. Lily turned toward me with an aged face before it shattered, revealing her true form. A girl no older than my daughter now clung to our hands, eyes alight with fear. Eliza appeared at the last moment as her essence dissipated into the storm, freeing us from this limbo of whispers and darkness. Her final words were, "Find peace in both worlds." The wind died. An eerie silence descended upon us. I held Lily Rose's lifeless body, a daughter I never knew. My own legacy now in my hands. A child's laughter drifted from within the house as sunlight returned. My little one was alive and waiting, eyes that mirrored mine. Lily's spirit was gone, but not forgotten. Her legacy lived through me. The journal had been replaced with 2 pages, "Find peace" scrawled upon them. My daughter clung to my neck, and in the kitchen, a final entry read like a testament of madness. Potions and prayers for a long lost love. A piece of our lineage's past was finally unearthed. Eliza had fled her demons, leaving behind 2 girls as she fled hers. As I caged my daughter close, an ageless woman stood there, the last of those who'd practiced witchcraft, and perhaps all that remained of both our mother's secrets. It began with a look that transcended time, a promise for a chance at redemption, a new beginning. In this moment of shared purpose, I looked upon Eliza. With her hands now empty, she spoke of an unspoken pact, silence or magic. We'd share the craft until the last breath. The cycle was broken, our connection to the land and their dark arts severed. My daughter was given over by Eliza, a new family bound to this earth where the wind carried whispers for both worlds. I cradled her close as she spoke of love that had been lost and found in me. My child an echo between 2 women, generations apart, yet together forever. In the woods, Lily Rose's essence merged with Eliza's heart, a mother-daughter legacy born anew while the wind bore witness to our tale. The first rain began, washing away what needed washing off this land and within us. We were reborn of wood and blood. Our house trembled as if awakened from centuries' slumber. I held both of them close. It was time for her new life in a world yet born. And so the wind bore our tale. Whispers left behind as nature claimed what was rightfully mine, sealing an unspoken pact between witchcraft and motherhood.